How did you, I'm sorry if I'm late to the game on this question, but I'm curious about how you kind of picked this as your cause.
Well, I mean, I guess the funny side of it is that I'm not a really big guy, and I face a bunch of giants in the NFL. I take them on pretty handily. So I think my calling was just because you have to stand for something. And I had a story of a young girl who Grace McComas. Mama's right there. Tell him, sorry. Go, mommy, go. No. Sorry.
Oh no.
Sorry, the kid was
So I just was curious what, when I heard.
A young girl named Grace McComas. She was basically bullied into taking her own life, and that story right there just touched home with me. And ever since then, it just took off, man. It spread like wildfire. I got to know the family, got to speak to the family, went to a forum with them. We spoke about it, wondered what we was gonna do next. And after that first, speaking of what we was gonna do next, it kind of just took off from there, and it just spread it. We said what we were gonna do. We knew we couldn't go fight everybody, but the fight was different. We fought with kind words, getting people to understand that just being nice to somebody can go a long way. And once I really got to know that family, it was pretty deep from there. Because then you start getting the letters and emails, Facebook, about how I saved a person's life. By just saying something that means something to them, it really just, they say sticks and stones may break your bones and words won't hurt you. Words with the power of social media today, words are killing people. People are taking words and, they're supposed to be spoken and putting them behind a computer, and people's getting them taken the wrong way. I've dealt with it this year personally, with fantasy football. Not to put it out there, I dealt with an injury this year, and people were telling me to kill myself. So you can understand what a young kid, put yourself in a kid's mind, of telling them they're not worth living, you're ugly, you're this, that, and the other. And they don't have the power to fight back. That's deep. That's deep. But you see, I got something to live for. You see my daughter was just up here, so them words don't hit me that kind of way. But I would love to reach out to the people who were saying the stuff and actually help them. I would never want to be somebody's enemy. I really want to help them. Because you shouldn't have that, kind of bravery to, really take words and say them kind of things to people, because you never know what person you might say it to. They can, really hurt themselves.
Well, when I first heard these allegations, a certain NFL team, the first thing I thought of was, I wonder what Ray Rice is saying about that. Because at least in Baltimore, Maryland, in our state, you've been so vocal against it.
Well, when I first found about it in the NFL, the one thing I know about the locker room and teammates, that things happen. So one thing I would want to do is find out about what was truly going on. Was it playful, or was it a situation where, a guy was truly getting bullied to the point where he didn't say anything or speak up about it, so guys were thinking that they're playing and it got taken the wrong way. So I really don't know the total details, because we have some things that happen in the locker rooms that, are supposed to stay there. Like, for example, me and Bryant McKinney had a funny relationship, and he would call him Big Mac, but we would be playing. So, but me and Vontae Leach have a different kind of relationship, where we're getting on each other constantly, but we both know the lines that we can't cross with each other. And I think that's where the situation happened in Miami. There was lines that were crossed that weren't addressed. And maybe, the victim went home and really thought about it. Like, am I really being harassed? Or, but I can't speak for that locker room, because I don't know how it was going on. I know there's two sides to each story, but I definitely know that there are things that happen in the locker room that stays in the locker room. And that was one of the situations where if he felt some kind of way, it would have been better if he would have spoke up, you know, before it escalated to what it could have, you know, it could have been something that could have been solved if he would have spoke up ahead of time. So it's something, you know, I don't blame him for feeling the way you feel, but I feel like he let it go on a little bit too long.
Would bullying ever happen?
It would never happen I'm just being honest, it would never happen in Baltimore. Because we have the people that, you know, we respect each other enough to respect someone's space, or we know how to take, you know, we don't do hazing, we don't do that kind of stuff. We kind of just enjoy, I guess the most thing we ever do, I still do it. I don't actually go pick up the chicken but I had to go get the chicken for the airplane as a rookie. It's not much, so just make the plane on time, you'll be all right.
What efforts are you going to put forward to stop bullying?
Well, tonight, we're going to put forth an effort, you know, great message coming out. And one thing we want to do is keep being positive, you know, and you're a young guy yourself, so we can use your help.
Yeah, I don't get bullied because my school doesn't have bullies.
Well, what we need you to do is you know what, it starts with a vision. And what I need you to do is take our vision that we're building, of stopping bullying everywhere, and embrace it into your school says no bullying, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Keep that vision and let's turn it into action. We're gonna call it Action Pack Jackson, even though my last name Rice, all right?
Ray, how much does it worry you as a father to see what some of these kids are facing in school and on the internet nowadays?
Man, it haunts me. It truly does. It haunts me. I mean, I'm the oldest of four. I have a younger sister who was bullied. You know, she's the only girl, so it's like, you know, before my daughter was born, like, it's like, you know, my sister was bullied, like, so it's like, I'm a big brother, like, first thing you want to do is, you know what you want to do. I want to go to school. I want to find out who's doing it. I want to sit outside and wait for them, you know, and when it happened, though, man, it was just like, wow, like, I didn't think it would happen. My sister don't bother nobody. Now I got a daughter. It truly haunts me. It haunts me more with social media. It truly does. Social media is in school, it's kind of like, all right, you say something to somebody, you know, you go to the principal, you get help. All right, that person's bothering you. All right, they're going home, and they're getting behind a keyboard, and they're saying whatever they want. They can't even express themselves. And then you got friends in little cliques and whatever you want to call it. They discussing a person's life on the web. Not a fan. I'm a fan of, you know, using my social media for the positive reasons. And it can be used for good things. I don't want to take the power of social media and say all social media is bad. It's really not. But it does give somebody who maybe has something going on in their life, or the problem, or whatever is going on. It gives them power. You know, the power to address somebody and say, you know, nice things to people. It's not happening. It's just not. You know, that's where the real problem lies. Going to school is one thing. I feel like going to school, it happens in school, but that power behind that button, shoot, the power of your phone. You could be right there, the person could be talking about you in class. Did you see what such and such said? And that's powerful, man. It's crazy.
You mentioned Grace McComas. I know that there's a law now named after her which makes cyberbullying illegal. Are you happy to see that lawmakers are taking action against something like that?
Yeah, that's like, that was huge. That was one of the hugest things that could have happened, you know, with bullying. And I hope, you know, Maryland, everywhere else, look at what we've done and try to, like, you know, model themselves after it, because it happens. It happens all over. True about that. It does happen all over. Every day, all over. New York, my sister, we live in New York in the off season. So it's definitely happening all over. Probably happening right now as you speak.
You
With-
talk about your fellow players and your teammates. What kind of feedback are you getting from them about your cause?
I mean, they really love they love that a guy like me stood up for something like this. You know, it's a different cause, you know what I mean? I got a lot of guys that, we all stand up for something. You know, some guys may be diabetes, it might be cancer, you know, it might be sickle cell, it might be something. You know, mine was, I've dealt with that stuff. I felt like bullying was just a different outlet that, you know, that was different, number one, but it was something that, being in the position I'm in, you know, my voice will be heard a little bit different. You know, it's different than your mom or your teacher telling you that bullying, just being honest, it's different than a teacher telling you and saying that bullying is bad. When you get an advocate, you know, a person like myself and, you know, a bunch of powerful people around the world now who, you know, really are against it, you know, your voice is being heard, trust me.